All right, here's where things start to get really weird. A woman nobody had ever heard of, going only by the initials DL, has suddenly come forward and dropped a nuclear-level claim. She says she's the actual birth mother of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's kids, Archie and Lilibet. According to her, she wasn't just some anonymous donor or an egg carrier. She says she was the full-blown secret surrogate for both pregnancies. And now she's not keeping quiet anymore. She's not just talking either. She's bringing receipts. We're talking hospital records, financial transactions, and apparently NDAs that were signed and sealed back in late 2018. Her exact words? "I was promised privacy and compensation. Instead, I was erased from the narrative." She's not making these claims from behind some blurry silhouette either. She's showing her face, calm, unshaken, almost like she's been waiting for this moment the entire time. And you know what? People are listening, because for years now there's been chatter online about Meghan's pregnancies being off. Videos have gone viral of Meghan's baby bump moving in strange ways, like folding when she sat down or mysteriously changing size within days. At the time, people called it nonsense, conspiracy talk. But now? Let's just say those old videos are getting millions of new views overnight. But let's take a step back here. If what DL is saying is true, then this isn't just about Meghan possibly faking a pregnancy for optics. This is about the royal line of succession. This is about two children being presented to the world under completely false circumstances while the palace, the press, and even Prince Harry played along. Or worse, helped plan it. Harry especially is in hot water. At first, some people thought maybe he was just another victim of Meghan's PR machine. But with this woman's claims coming out, that narrative doesn't hold up anymore. If he was involved from the start, if he knew the pregnancies were staged and still went along with it, then he's not a passive bystander, he's a co-architect. Remember the strange way Archie's birth was announced? No press at the hospital, no photo op on the hospital steps like Kate and William did with their kids. Just a weirdly casual video of Harry standing in front of a stable, grinning and saying the baby had arrived. That alone raised eyebrows back then. But now, with everything surfacing, it feels a lot more suspicious. Why was there no hospital name confirmed? Why was there no media present? It all feels like a carefully crafted performance. Then came the birth certificate issue. When it was finally released, people noticed something odd. Meghan's full legal name, Rachel Meghan Markle, had been removed and replaced with Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. The palace claimed it was a clerical update. Meghan said it was done without her consent. But now, in light of DL's accusations, some think the name was removed to avoid legal complications, because listing Meghan as the birth mother could have been seen as falsifying a legal document. And still, there's been no denial. No press conference, no clean-cut statement shutting this woman down. Instead, reports say Meghan and Harry's legal team is working overtime behind closed doors, allegedly threatening media outlets and scrambling to contain the narrative. But when someone says they're ready to do a DNA test, and you're the one threatening lawsuits instead of stepping forward with proof, that doesn't exactly scream confidence, does it? So here we are. The woman says she carried both royal children. She's got documents. She's got details. And she's not backing down. Meanwhile, Meghan and Harry? Total silence. And that silence is getting louder by the day. There's something almost cinematic about how this whole thing is unraveling. The anonymous surrogate DL claims she was recruited through a California-based agency and kept under strict isolation during both pregnancies. No friends, no family, barely any outside contact. The idea, according to her, was to avoid leaks and speculation. She says Meghan's team handled everything: medical arrangements, housing, even psychological support. But what they didn't handle was her silence. Not forever. DL says her turning point came after battling postpartum preeclampsia, a dangerous condition involving high blood pressure and potential organ damage. She says she received little follow-up care and felt discarded after delivery. "I wasn't a person to them. I was a vessel," she told a journalist in a private interview. That's when she started collecting everything: documents, texts, appointment logs, even payment receipts. If true, her paper trail could be explosive. The press, once cautious, is beginning to circle, not tabloids, mainstream outlets. Legal teams from major networks are reportedly assessing the risks of covering the story more aggressively. Meanwhile, online forums are flooded with amateur investigators, many digging up old clips and inconsistencies from Meghan's pregnancy era. Some of the footage is hard to ignore. A 2019 appearance where Meghan bends down and her baby bump visibly collapses inwards has been replayed frame by skeptics. At the time, it was dismissed as a dress wrinkle. Now, it's being seen in a whole new light. Harry's inner circle isn't staying quiet either. Sources close to the Duke claim he's been emotionally volatile, lashing out at aides and retreating from his usual routines. Some insiders say he's barely sleeping, consumed by paranoia about who knew what and when. One former staffer reportedly said, "He's unraveling. He's caught in a lie he thought he could control." Another mentioned that Harry has started questioning whether Meghan's team gave him the full story during the original arrangement. Meghan, in contrast, is staying out of sight. No Instagram posts, no podcast episodes, no product launches. For someone so used to controlling the narrative, the silence is deafening. Her PR firm hasn't issued a single official denial, and according to people familiar with her brand operations, several high-profile collaborations are now under internal review. Legal pressure is ramping up too. Rumors are swirling that Meghan and Harry's attorneys have issued cease and desist letters to multiple outlets considering interviews with DL. But here's the catch. DL says she welcomes legal action. She's even offered to testify under oath and submit to DNA testing, provided it's conducted by a neutral third party. That level of confidence has people wondering, what exactly does she know that makes her so fearless? This isn't just a gossip story anymore. It's starting to touch on constitutional implications. British constitutional advisors are reportedly re-evaluating the legal validity of the children's status in the royal line. Because here's the thing. If a surrogate was used but not disclosed, and if royal protocol requires transparency for succession legitimacy, then it opens a can of worms the palace has never dealt with before. The Queen's former press secretary even commented in a radio interview, saying this would be a first. And if true, it could raise significant questions about legitimacy and title rights. The monarchy has always been built on strict tradition. And while surrogacy isn't illegal or shameful, hiding it, especially in a royal context, could be seen as deceptive to the public and the institution itself. As the public starts to grasp the weight of this, even loyal fans are stepping back. Social media polls show trust in the Sussexes has dropped to an all-time low. The narrative they spent years carefully building of independence, victimhood, authenticity is now under siege. The strain behind closed doors is becoming impossible to hide. Meghan and Harry, once hailed as the modern, relatable royals who broke the mold, are reportedly at their breaking point. People close to them say the tension is unbearable. Meghan is said to be furious, not just at the surrogate for coming forward, but at Harry himself for not shutting it down before it spread. She allegedly believes his indecision gave the story oxygen. Meanwhile, Harry feels cornered, not just by the media frenzy, but by the possibility that everything he built outside the royal family could now fall apart. Sources claim the couple is barely communicating. They're sleeping in different rooms. Staff has been cut down to a minimum. Their Montecito mansion, once described as a peaceful retreat, is now filled with suspicion and whispered arguments. Meghan's focus has reportedly shifted to protecting her business ventures. Her lifestyle brand, which includes everything from skincare to wine, is facing quiet withdrawals from sponsors. One insider said, "No one wants to be caught in the middle of a ticking PR time bomb. The legal side is just as messy." Their lawyers are working round the clock, not only sending threats to media outlets, but also trying to prevent DL from doing interviews on American television. So far, they've had limited success. Word is, at least 2 major networks have already pre-recorded segments with DL and are just waiting for the legal dust to settle. The moment that footage airs, the entire narrative could shift permanently. What's most shocking to many is the lack of a solid denial. Meghan has faced countless accusations over the years, and she's always had something to say. A statement, a lawsuit, an interview, even a carefully curated social media post. But this time, nothing. Just silence. That vacuum is being filled by endless speculation, and in the court of public opinion, silence often looks a lot like guilt. the royal institution, which has long distanced itself from the Sussex drama. The idea that children might have been brought into the royal bloodline under false pretenses isn't just a PR nightmare. It's a constitutional one. There are real legal implications. Can titles like Prince and Princess apply to children born via undisclosed surrogacy? Can they remain in the line of succession if royal birth protocol wasn't followed? These are questions the palace has never had to seriously consider until now. Senior advisors are said to be consulting legal historians and constitutional scholars to explore their options. A formal investigation is still unlikely, but a quiet review is reportedly underway. If it turns out the Sussexes violated royal protocol, or worse, actively deceived the monarchy, it could lead to unprecedented consequences, including title removals or a formal severing of any remaining royal ties. What's equally unsettling is how public opinion is shifting. Celebrities who once stood by the couple are now going quiet. Podcasts that previously praised Meghan's advocacy work are scrubbing old episodes. Social media pages once filled with support are now flooded with comments demanding truth, transparency, and accountability. The illusion of the fairy tale is cracking, and people aren't looking away. For a couple that built their post-royal life on authenticity, this moment is devastating. It's not just reputational damage, it's existential. If the public believes they lied about something this significant, how can they be trusted again? What started as whispers about a moon bump and an odd birth certificate has evolved into one of the biggest controversies the modern monarchy has faced. The story that once looked like freedom is now starting to look a lot like fiction.